and it's well over 40 hospitals in the healthcare system. So in 2013, around the end of 2013, at the executive level, to gain some operational efficiencies at the hospital level, the executives organized into a metro region and a regional facilities region. And within the metro region, they organized in divisions. So we have a northern division, a southern division, and a central division. And that really helped some of the executive leaders really get their arms around what's going on in the facilities versus this very large scope, so they couldn't have a lot of impact. So within the central division that was created, we have our 900-bed level 1 trauma center, we have a pediatric hospital, and we have a 200-bed community hospital. And so each facility had their own respiratory care department. So the merger, so to speak, impacted our department. So we had to take a minute to decide how we were going to let it impact us. Were they going to tell us how to operate now as a central division, or were we going to be able to be proactive and decide how we were going to organize? So we took the time to really plan out on paper what a divisional org chart looked like. So we went from 3 facility leaders to a central division director, which is my role, and we have leaders at each facility that are the directors at each facility. And we were able to create something on paper that gave us 175 FTEs to staff our division versus working vertically and in our silos to try to get everything done within 24 hours that we have to do with our own resources. So on paper it was beautiful, we were high-fiving, but how do you execute that? How do you operationalize that? So that the staff doesn't feel that, okay, now I've got to work at 3 facilities, whereas before I was struggling just to work at 1. So we took the time to make it a 3-phase, 2-year implementation plan, which really allowed us to get the message out there, help the team understand what we were trying to do, and that we were going to take our time to understand the impact that each change had in each step. So the first step was that organization at the director level to make sure we had that right level of leadership there. Then we decided that we could really get some buy-in from the staff's perspective if we gained some efficiencies from productivity. So Premier is our benchmarking tool that we use, and so we use them as our source of truth for productivity and our labor expense index. So when we started this work, we started with a productivity index of almost 118% as a division. So that's staff running around a lot, trying to get a lot of stuff done with not a lot of people. But by looking at us as a 175 FTE division that could get us the resources we needed for the most part, and creating a central division PRM pool, we were able over a 2-year period to drop that down to 105% for the year. So still not where you want to be ideally, but that change in and of itself is marked. It's pretty significant. The same from the dollars that we spent. So from a labor expense index, the amount of money we were spending to staff was 112%. And we ended 2015 after about a year and a half at 105, 108. So that was great work in and of itself, but that was just the second part. So the third part was just to continue that conversation. It's a culture change. It's understanding that we're going to start with the people that want to work multiple facilities. We have people that are at the community, our 200-bed facility, that have worked there for 20 years and they don't want to work anywhere else, and that's okay, because we have more than enough people that want to be a pediatric therapist, a level 1 trauma therapist, and have that ability to be flexible. So we tapped into that group, and in 2015, we had about, I would say 20% of our staff cross-trained, and then in addition to our central division PRM pool. So the next steps for this is to continue to be flexible and adaptable, so that when the next wave of transformation comes, whatever it is, we've got a large group of highly trained therapists that can be very, that can change on a dime. So if we need to focus on COPD, we can rearrange ourselves pretty quickly to be able to impact that outcome. So that's where the foundation piece comes in, to take the time to build that foundation. So whatever change comes, we can move and pivot as an organization. And historically, we don't do that well in healthcare. We take a really long time to try to figure things out and how to take our next steps. And then we do it really well on paper, and we don't always really get to the really well execution phase of it. So we're proud of the work that we've done since 2013. We have still have a long way to go, but I was happy to come here and share what we've done so far.
Gary Little Arkansas Children's Hospital. What's the physical distance between the institutions?
So we are lucky, our Level 1 Trauma Center and our Children's Hospital are attached to one another, and then the 200-bed community center is about 2 miles away. So this really works for us.
So there's not a hardship